And welcome back. The beginning of this is going to be in time-lapse. I'm going to be doing the same thing I did previous part with the metal parts, only with the non-metal parts. Here we go. Alright, there we go. We have solids basically blocked in, and I'm going to go ahead and turn lock transparency on both of these. That way, just like we could with the solid, we cannot go outside the lines. Now, the next step is quite fun. It can also take a while, not as long as inking, but this is the shading guide, and people go about shading in so many different ways, but this is my preferred method. I use it almost every time. I create an entirely separate layer, so we'll create a new layer above the flats, and we'll call it shading guide. I always call it that. And this is usually set to multiply. It helps you see what it looks like with all the solids, but I'm going to actually hide the flats that I just filled in. So I just have this white, which is helpful when you're trying to figure out where the shading is going. And I usually look to pick a light blue, because shadows are generally bluish, depending on the light, and there's usually kind of like blue light. The light source, if it's warm, the shadows are cool. Likewise, the light is cool, the shadows tend to be warm. But usually light is a warm color, like yellow or red. And as a consequence, the shadows usually look best when they're bluish, look most natural. So, and I like blue, so I'm going to pick blue. Anyway, so inside the solid, we will select the solid. I'm doing hard edges, so depending on if you want a more painterly quality, you probably wouldn't do this. But I don't know, maybe you could. Again, this is very subjective, and there's no one way to do it. There's no one way I do it. This is the way I choose most of the time. I feel like it's the fastest, and it's the one I'm most used to. So this is my cell shading method. And I'm going to time-lapse this. Remember, the light source, I'm going to have the light source be the forbidden fruit here. And, like, mostly. There's going to be a little bit of reflected light back here, but this is the main light source. Always keep that in mind before you start shading. Where's the light coming from? Beautiful music. Alright. Here we go. It's a shading. And I think that's all I have time for right now. And in the next part, I will show you how to apply this shading in myriad wonderful ways.